Okay, guys. So, Mr. Beast intro. Okay, I'm sitting here on Nikki J's couch doing the Milk Fridge podcast. I'm the milkman. This is the cooler one. We're gonna talk about games, video games. All right. All right. So, you want to introduce yourself first,
Yeah.
or should I?
Hi, I'm TheCoolerOne, also known as Cy Wallace. I have a YouTube channel where I do Minecraft videos.
You should plug it.
I should plug it in the description below. Yeah, Nick, you have to plug stuff now. Okay. And I also have a Twitch. Plug that down there too. And you know what? Plug my Twitter too.
Plug everything. His Instagram, his Facebook.
But today, like Milkman said, we're going to be talking about. This is more of an introductory video for the Milk Fridge, where we're gonna just introduce ourselves, talk about games that we like, stuff like that.
I'm the milkman. I like video games. I like Smash Brothers. You know, big Smash Brothers computer. I like Mewtwo. That guy's pretty cool. I like Pokemon. Pokemon cards. Cars. They're pretty cool too. Kendrick Lamar also has a banger album that just dropped. And I guess I'm mainly just a Nintendo Switch dude. I have a PlayStation. I used to be huge on PlayStation, but they don't have any games. So I'm stuck to the Switch because the Switch has games.
No bacon though.
No bacon, but it has games. Switch has a lot of games, but PlayStation has like Astro Bot.
Switch does have a lot of games.
And a lot of bad games too.
A lot
of bad games.
A lot of hentai games.
I was gonna mention the hentai games on that. Like this is a like, it's a console that's meant for children.
It is.
It has parental controls built into it, and you can. The same console that has parental controls, you can download hentai games on.
And you want to know the funny thing? Those hentai games
they're always on sale.
One, they're always on sale. Two, parental controls don't block them.
Yeah.
So a little kid could go on there and buy
a little kid takes their mom's credit card and like, mommy, I need to buy the hentai game right now. And she's like, okay, Timmy.
And this is how Timmy gets his addiction.
Unfortunately. Well, I say we jump in to our first main topic of basically what our favorite games are. Games / game series / maybe even like any like other in-person games, you know, card games, board games, sports games, all that. I'm gonna start off. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is quite literally the best game of all time.
I know that's the first thing that you're gonna bring up is Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition.
I've yet to play a game better than Devil May Cry 5. And I play a lot of games. None of them holds up to the storytelling.
Notice how it's always on sale, though. Always.
Because it's 5 years old. Anyways,
because no one likes it. You're like
It got Game of the Year. It got Game of the Year.
5 years ago.
Yeah. You want to know what else?
5 years ago.
You want to know what else was 5 years ago? I don't know. But I'm sure something major happened and it beat it.
You know what was 24 years ago?
Probably the year 2001. That year, it's
not a very poggers year.
Anyways, Devil May Cry 5, my favorite game out there. My favorite game series would unfortunately be Smash Brothers because I played that game way too much. I spent like 1,000 hours on it last year. Yikes.
That is a big yikes.
It is a big yikes.
I only spent like maybe 100 and something hours on it.
What's sad is that out of all of Indiana, the entire Smash scene, I had the most hours.
Really?
Yes.
That's sad. That is sad. That's.
There's people who make money and livings off of this game, and I don't, and I have more hours than them.
That is.
I actually don't know if I do have more hours than them. I just seen off of the images, but based off of the images, I have the most. But I'm sure Wolfie has more than me. That guy's kind of goated. Anyways, what games do you like, Sai?
Okay, I like my favorite game. Not game. Okay, we'll start with game series because I think my favorite game series and my favorite games of all time probably Pokemon. The Pokemon franchise is
Pokemon.
such a good franchise until Scarlet and Violet.
I was gonna say Scarlet
Yeah,
and Violet.
until Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet did mess everything up, but just a hint.
Every game before that was an amazing game, and I don't care what you say. Sword and Shield
is good.
Sword and Shield is a good game because it's just a good game. I don't know why people think it's a bad game.
I like the music. The music is really good. It had Toby Fox, the Undertale guy.
Yeah,
The music was great. Pokemon were cool. I almost said Beware, but I actually don't know. Is Beware Sun and Moon?
yeah.
Okay. They added Fallinks. Fallinks, that's a cool
Yeah.
that's a cool Pokemon.
Failing.
The legend Phalanx. The legendaries were
Okay.
they existed. Eternatus was kind of cool.
Eternatus was kind of cool.
The DLC was good.
The DLC was
the
amazing.
DLC was good.
I think the DLC was amazing. I thought that
Yes.
was top tier DLC.
The Crown Tundra DLC literally introduced like a new game mode that
Yeah.
it's like its own game almost.
Yeah, and then it added one of the most OP Pokemon in PvP.
Urshifu.
Yeah.
Urshifu. I have not done that part of the DLC yet, actually.
Urshifu is or Sword and Shield era, one of the best Pokemon in Sword and Shield era because he has two forms.
Is there
you
a
can pick-
definitive best?
There's not a definitive best Urshifu. They're both equally as good.
No, of Pokemon.
Oh, a Pokemon?
Yeah.
Like a definitively, like the best Pokemon definitively?
Yeah.
After 4 turns, Regigigas. But you have to wait 4 turns.
You have to wait 4 turns, yeah.
Because of slow start. But after slow start's gone, Regigigas has the highest base stat total. Of like, he has, I think, a base stat total of like 660 or 720, one of the two. And it's
Is it most like 400?
legendaries have a base stat total of 600.
Okay.
And then pseudo legendaries have a base stat total of 550, I think. Don't quote me on that.
Quote him on that.
Don't quote me on that.
And then at his Twitter saying you were wrong.
You were wrong. It was 570. That's the base stat total for pseudos.
Wow, nerds.
Someone's gonna clip that and then like at me with that clip.
At you with that clip, and then they're gonna edit in like every pseudo legendary, and they're gonna do the math, and they're gonna say the average is actually like 280 or 260.
Pseudo legendaries have the same base stat total.
Okay.
All pseudo legendaries have the same base stat total.
I did not know
I
that.
think. I think I'm actually wrong. on
What
that.
even is considered a pseudo legendary?
I don't know. I'll look it up later.
I want to say pseudo legendaries are like they're most of them are like the dragon types.
Yeah, most of the time.
What about Arcanine?
Arcanine is not a pseudo legendary. He is the legendary Pokemon, but not a pseudo legendary. Like you know how it's like Pikachu, the electric mouse Pokemon.
Yeah,
Arcanine is
the
the
legendary,
legendary Pokemon.
but not a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, but not a legendary Pokemon.
Speaking of like Nintendo products, what do we think about the Switch 2 that might be dropping very soon?
I did see that there was a confirmed leak.
Oh, wait. Leaks are going to be present. If you don't want leaks, turn it off or something. But we're going to say leaks. We don't know if the leaks are true or false. We're not going to deep dive that much into it, but I think this guy's copying me. But I also think most of the leaks that I've seen are true, and they are from the WarioWare bird. So I'm going to say they're true because that WarioWare bird is always correct. Do you know the WarioWare bird?
No.
It's Pyro on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no, I know who that guy is.
Yeah, that
I just
guy.
didn't know he was Wario.
He leaks constantly.
We're gonna start with leaks now. He leaked the Nintendo Switch 2 logo. I don't know if you've seen that.
I did. It's just the
It's-
Nintendo Switch logo and 2.
Yeah, and the 2.
I actually think that is a beautiful design because you see what happened with the Wii and the Wii U?
Yeah, they just put a U behind it.
Yes, which was terrible. That is the worst logo design you could ever do. But Nintendo Switch 2, it doesn't look pretty, but it for sure works because you know it's just another Nintendo Switch and not the Wii, but different, like the Wii U. The logo.
I actually liked the Wii U.
I like the Wii U too, but it
It
had a lot of good games.
It did.
Its
Super Mario Maker.
system was weird.
The system was very weird. I'll admit the system was very weird.
Honestly, I think if the Wii U, all the Wii U games were ported to the Switch would be like one of the most, well, it already is, but like maybe even more successful because Wii U games were just so good. It's just
Also,
the system was just like portable gamepad with
that's not actually portable.
Yeah, not actually portable. You have to be in a certain radius. You can kind of go far, but like if you leave,
oh no, you can't go far at all.
If you leave your room, then
my family owns a Wii U, and I can't walk like 10 feet away from it without it disconnecting.
You pretty much have to be. If you're in the same room as the Wii U, you can use the gamepad wherever you want. But if you
do not go behind a wall.
Oh yeah, don't go behind
a wall. You don't get to use the Wii U anymore.
Which is good with what the Switch did, because that's a true. The Switch is kind of. I want to say the Switch is another weird console, but it's not really weird. But it's just like I feel like
it's abnormal,
functionality-wise, perfect more than weird. Because
I would say functionality-wise, it's perfect too.
It's a TV console. It doesn't have the best like TV games in like consideration of like consoles
Pokemon
and
Let's Go.
It's Pokemon Let's Go, yeah. Pokemon Let's Go looks like it could run on a Wii.
Yeah, I know.
But the Switch games,
the graphics are meant to look like that though. Like the graphics aren't meant to be like Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild graphics.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that game could have ran better if they would have just upped the specs a little bit more.
I would still say, having Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a Game of the Year game, be able to run on a console that is less than the thickness of a deck of cards is still insane.
That's a good point. People hate on the fact that the Switch can't like run specific games. Like,
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, it can't run Dragon Ball Fighters. You're lucky you can download Dragon Ball Fighters on it.
You can play Dragon Ball Fighters. Your Switch overheats, though. Oh, another thing like that, Mortal Kombat 1. I'm so surprised they actually got that on the Switch.
Yeah.
That alone is an achievement.
Yeah.
Because you're literally running the next-gen fighting game on, like, a tablet.
That's essentially what it is just a tablet. The Nintendo Switch is a tablet with glorified controllers on the side.
And now for the Switch 2, the specs that they have been leaked, it's going to be about the same as a PS4 Pro.
I know, I saw that. PS4 Pro has good quality stuff too.
PS4 Pro has very, very good quality.
Oh, but it could have had PlayStation 5.
If it had PlayStation 5, that would have been insane. I don't think... Actually, no, I did see the dock. The dock is a really cool idea.
I have not seen the dock.
Imagine... Okay, so it's the Switch dock, and then the edges... The edges are, like, curved a little bit. And whenever the Switch is in the docked mode, it displays, like, the time and, like, weather and, like, a
Nintendo Alarmo!
Like a Nintendo Alarmo. Which may be the worst thing to ever exist. Not gonna lie. Nintendo Alarmo doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
you
the
can play
Nintendo
Donkey
Switch
Kong on it.
You can play Donkey Kong on it, yeah. But the Nintendo Switch 2, you put it in the dock and it becomes its own like little shows the time, weather, maybe some other stuff on there. And you also have like themes. You can have like a Mario theme, but I know for sure there is at least an Animal Crossing themed one. I like that one.
Is there an Animal Crossing theme Nintendo Switch 2?
No, not on the Switch 2, but like the screen will display Animal Crossing stuff.
Oh, on
when it's on the dock.
On the Switch 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really cool.
Are they gonna bring back like how on the DSs you could have like this background set to something?
Yes.
Like what is it called? Themes.
Themes. They need to add themes, yeah.
They need to have themes on
because
something.
I'm actually surprised we went this long. How many years like the Switch? 6 or 7?
Oh my god, I'm old. I'm getting older.
Yeah. It might be okay, no. Smash Ultimate by itself is 6 years old.
Right.
I would say the Switch is at least 7 years old then. 7 years of the themes, and they're just black and white.
Right.
I feel like the Switch was probably like a test to the Switch 2 because it had an entire section in the settings for just themes, and it was just black and white, which doesn't make any sense because
Is this a hint at Pokemon Black and White remakes?
speaking of that,
No shot. Wait, are we getting Black and White remakes?
yes, we are.
I haven't seen.
And we're
any
going
leaks
and we're going
for-
to get a TCG set of black and white.
I saw that. I
Yes,
saw that.
We're,
It was
we're going to get
with
that.
trainers.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that. Like
Ooh.
Ends Retrogram. Yeah, I saw that.
It's going to be a very popular set. And I think it's
That's
going
what
to
I'm
be.
waiting for. I'm waiting for that.
It's
I'm
gonna be
not-
good.
I'm not going to buy Prismatic.
I'm probably going to buy Prismatic. There's a lot of good stuff for Ancient Box.
There is. I
A lot of
guess,
stuff
yeah.
that you can discard with.
Is this a card where you just take a prize card?
Oh yeah, that one. That's from the Umbreon, right?
Yeah, it's the Umbreon.
That's
the
fun.
Umbreon.
But like on the Switch 2, its specs are good. I think its size is about a normal Switch, maybe an OLED for the screen. Actually, I think it might be more than an OLED.
I was going to say, it better be an OLED or better, because there's no way they release a Switch 2 with the same screen as the normal Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
I don't really care if it's like $400, $450, because if you're going to pay that much for a PlayStation 4 Pro, like a brand new PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah, you would for a brand new PlayStation 4 Pro, but also at that point, at $50 more, you could get a brand new PS5.
You could, but then you've got Nintendo fans who want to play Nintendo exclusive games.
And that's Nintendo.
Yeah.
You have to get the new console if you want the new Nintendo games, guys. But I did see the Joy-Cons are magnetic Joy-Cons.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
So it gets rid of that stupid, like...
Okay. Yeah,
The aliens are here.
the magnetic Joy-Cons, they're like, I forget what that was. I think it's the NVIDIA Go type console. I'm not for sure if it's NVIDIA, but I think it's like that with the magnetic controllers on it. I don't know how good that's going to be. I don't know how the NVIDIA thing did, but I think it'll be good. But I am a little upset because I really had an idea for the Switch 2 dock where you would put it in its dock and it would quite literally just connect to like a different system to up its specs. But
Oh, I know what you're saying.
yeah,
That would be neat, actually. I would like that.
I thought that'd be like such a cool idea, but the dock is just a normal Switch dock with some other
Yeah.
fancy features.
Okay.
But it's still a PS4 Pro graphics. That's still really fine, and it's like I said, it's Switch sized, running PS4 graphics. You want to know that? You want to know what that means? It can run Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, baby, but no ray tracing. But that's fine because it doesn't matter. Oh my god! I think the Switch 2, when the leak started to come out, I thought it was unironically going to fail hard. Because the target demographic for a Switch 2, I feel like, is so small. Because it's like the DS and the Wii issue. Nintendo has a really successful console. They drop another one, and it kind of just fails because you don't really need it. Like the DS and then the 3DS. Do you really need the 3DS if you already have a DS? You have the Wii and the Wii U. Do you need the Wii U for the Wii?
I feel like it's kind of different. I get what you're saying, but I feel like the DS and the 3DS were different enough consoles that you could have them. Now the 2DS, I feel like that shouldn't have been released.
Oh yeah, I think the 2DS was just like cheap option for
3DS games.
yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I think that's a good idea, but I don't think, like, most people
would
already
also
had a
say-
3DS.
I want to see if they do something like the Switch Lite for the Switch 2.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. With, like, I guess with PS4 Pro graphics, or I guess even PS4 graphics.
What I thought Switch was going to do, unironically, back when the Switch first came out, I thought they were going to have a TV only Switch instead of like a portable Switch, but I think they put too much care into it being portable and like a desktop console. Yeah.
Desktop?
Yeah, but you like put a desktop, not yeah, tabletop, desktop, yeah,
Okay.
console.
I was confused. Okay, anyways, continue.
But I thought like a TV only Switch would have been really good because you can still have the exact same graphics as the normal Switch, but the price is like cut much harder
Yeah.
if you want just the games. Which the Switch Lite was cool. It was like $200 and you get to play Nintendo Switch games just in handheld. But I will say the Switch controllers, the whole drift issue made the Switch Lite at its current time a terrible console because if your Switch Lite got drift, you had to get an entirely new Switch Lite or take it apart yourself and fix it.
Yeah. Which I think the drift's going to be fixed if I remember from the leaks
I
correctly.
think, yeah, they had, what was it?
Hall effect?
Hall effect, yeah. Magnetic Hall effect joysticks, which pretty much means no drift, which is good. But are the Joy-Cons going to be actually good, though?
I've seen a lot of concept arts or concepts
Oh,
for
another thing I just thought of. You know how the Switch has a like the Pro grip to put the Joy-Cons in a
Yeah.
grip? What's that going to look like for the Switch 2?
That's what I was trying to figure out earlier, because you could have it look exactly the same, or you could make it look different and have it look like an actual controller.
Yeah. I would also think for their like Pro controller for the console, honestly, just do the Switch Pro controller again. That Switch Pro controller was like heaven in hands. It just worked.
Don't make like an entirely new controller.
Oh yeah, don't.
Because
like
you guys
the
have
Wii.
a very, very successful controller. You don't need to create.
Another thing, I think. Actually, what were you gonna say?
You don't need to create a new controller if you have a successful controller.
Yeah.
Which Nintendo has a bad habit of doing. They have a bad habit of creating new stuff when they already have successful things that could work for their new stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of like the Wii, where they had a Wii controller, which in and of itself is just a gimmick. But then they came up with that Pro controller, and they first had the Classic Pro before the actual Pro controller. It was just a Classic controller, and then the Classic Pro came out. But the Classic controller was just an SNES controller with somehow two shoulder and bumper buttons that weren't really shoulder; they were kind of just four bumpers. And then they had.
I have one of those. It's not very nice.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I didn't get one, but I think that and the Pro was just adding shoulder and bumpers and then grips. But the design alone is still weird because I honestly think that like my biggest issue is it's the sticks that are just like they're really close. They are really
No,
close.
they are really.
And then it also uses a thick D-pad.
Yeah.
And not only is it a thick D-pad, it's still a D-pad on a controller that's like shaped like a PS4 controller that doesn't have a D-pad and just has four buttons, but they're close enough to where it just feels like a D-pad. But I think if the best way to solve the whole controller issue is quite simply let you use your Switch controllers on the Switch 2, like how you have your games on the Switch to the Switch 2, because that's also going to be backwards compatible with the Switch.
Thank God.
Yes. The Switch had way too many games for it to only be on the Switch, I feel like.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be that hard to make them backwards compatible. It's the same with the DS and the 3DS.
Cartridge. It is using the same cartridge.
Okay. So, yeah, it's just essentially the same thing as the DS and the 3DS, where 3DS is backwards compatible with DS because the DS games fit inside of the 3DS slot. So.
I also want to think, what is the games for the Switch 2 looking like?
Well, a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be announced alongside Pokemon Legends ZA. So I think Pokemon Legends ZA would be a good
opener.
A good opening game because it looks good so far. And we haven't even seen a lot. We've seen like a couple things. But from what we've seen, it looks like an okay game, and I think it'll be a good opener for the Switch 2.
I think a good opener for the Switch 2, outside of Smash 6, realistically, Smash 6 would be the best thing, but it's not going to happen. That's Smash 6 on a like the first game on your Switch 2 going to be Smash 6 is just impossible, unfortunately. I think Mario Kart 9 would be a very good opener because we actually just need another Mario Kart game.
Yeah, I would say another Mario Party game, but I think we have enough Mario Party
We've
games.
gotten a lot of Mario Party games recently, and they're
Mario Party Jam
all really good, actually.
They are actually like all really good, which is why I don't think they'd release another Mario Party game at least this close to the other Mario Party games.
I think it would be cool if they also just did like a re-release of the Mario Party games. Specifically 8, because I want to replay 8 so bad. I love Mario Party 8. It was its
Yeah.
peak.
What was that for? The N64?
The Wii.
The Wii? Okay.
Yeah, it's such a
They could do a
so
remaster. They
good.
could just remaster it.
I kind of like the graphics being like budgety. I don't know. It adds to like its charm, and like the mini games were cool, the boards were cool, and I feel like the just like the bit rate being so low, it was just a cool little game to just have.
Yeah.
And I don't have it anymore. But
I think we can get a new Zelda game. Not a remaster, like a brand new Zelda game.
we did just get like Breath of the Wild Part 2. I actually don't know what it's called. I am not that much into Legend of Zelda.
I don't know.
But I feel like you dropped Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2. I'm not for sure what it's called. And that other Zelda, not like a Zelda
Tears
game,
of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. The Zelda-focused Zelda game
Yeah.
that also dropped. I think what they could do is just drop, what is the Toon Link? They just remastered that.
Yeah, they could.
I feel
would
like
be
they're going to
fun.
do that because they never did it for the Switch, which everybody thought they were just going to plot it onto the Switch. And the Switch did get a lot of remakes. They got Ocarina of Time, but that's up behind the membership paywall.
Boo.
Yeah. Boo!
Which, let's be real, they're probably going to have a membership paywall on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah. But I feel like another thing, the membership should have much more features.
It should.
I even think if you have your membership to like 40 to 50 a year, and you have a bunch of benefits like the PlayStation does, but not as much
40
as
to
PlayStation.
50 a year, it's 20 right now.
Yeah, but if they make it 40 to 50 a year with a bunch of benefits.
Yeah, I guess.
And increase the online services.
Oh, yeah.
Because the connection is so bad.
Yeah, please, Nintendo, I know you're not watching this, but
No,
please,
they are.
No, I'll just pray. Please give me good Nintendo servers when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out. Like, up the price of the membership for all I care, but use the money to buy better servers or something.
And then amen.
Amen.
But,
Amen.
yes. A lot of people are also talking about a starter game for the Switch 2 being New Mario.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Because
yeah.
Mario Odyssey is really old. And I would still say it's still such a good game.
Yeah.
It's short, though. The game is really short. You can literally beat Mario Odyssey in 2 hours casually. I've done it before. If you're on a car ride, if you're on like, let's say you're like on a car ride and you're going from a bunch of different stores and whatever, you could realistically beat all of Mario Odyssey in your car, which sucks because the game is really good.
When you go to Afterburner, you should beat it again.
I could. The trip from there and back is enough time to just beat Mario Odyssey, which is it just sucks because it's a good game, great concept, great
Mechanics are amazing.
Mechanics are good, yes, and it's a good scenery. I really like the scenery, but the game was just short, and if you're playing it casually, I feel like you just miss out on a lot of the scenery.
Right, because you have to be able to do some difficult jumps to see a lot of like good parts of the game.
Yeah.
And if you're like a casual Nintendo player who doesn't like hardcore play games and learn controls, you're not going to be able to see some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom missed like half of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze's intro because she couldn't make a jump.
Cuphead reference.
Yeah. Because my mom's not a hardcore gamer. Like my mom is just like, oh, I like
guess
playing games with my kids.
That is another thing. Mario Odyssey was honestly a little difficult. If you're looking at it from like a casual Nintendo fan, okay. Picture paint time. 12-year-old kid, he got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. And with that Switch, he gets to pick out one game. And he picks out Super Mario Odyssey. And he's playing Super Mario Odyssey. He's having the time of his life. But that kid just cannot understand Cappy at all.
Because I don't understand Cappy.
How do you play Mario Odyssey if you don't understand Cappy? Mario Odyssey is kind of just Cappy.
Which is why I haven't bought the game. Because I don't understand
You don't have
Cappy.
Mario Odyssey?
I don't have Mario Odyssey. Because
What?
every time I go to play Mario Odyssey on someone else's Switch, I don't understand Cappy. Like, how in the actual crap do you throw Cappy?
If
Do you shake the controller or do you press a button? Because there's two different things on my screen.
You can do both and you get a better Cappy.
See? You do both and you get a better Cappy. How does that... Like, I get how that makes sense. And I get that the controls make sense after you learn how to use them.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're picking up a game, like if playing a Mario game, you should not have to learn the game. You should just get the Mario game and you play the Mario game. Because that's kind of what Mario is.
Like Mario Wonder. Mario Wonder was a
Yes.
great Mario game. Amazing Mario game.
That game was simple enough. It had enough mechanics that were still simple enough because it was just like minor changes like you get this gliding ability, you get an extra jump, you move faster, or just something simple like that.
A great Mario game. This is a great example of a good Mario game. New Super Mario Bros. Wii U.
Yes.
I love
that was good.
New Super Mario Bros. U.
And the good thing about it is like it's a simple game.
It adds that one new power-up and a bunch of new worlds. And that one new power-up is Acorn, and the Acorn, it's easy to understand.
Yeah.
You press a button and you get to glide, and then if you press that button again, you get to jump a second time.
I think that was one of the issues with Mario Odyssey was the difficulty was just not... It was too un-Mario-like for a Mario game. Like, if you look at 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy was really simple.
It was a Mario game, but 3D.
Yes. You also had 3D World and 3D Land.
Those are literally side-scroller Mario games that are 3D.
Yes.
You can move across the Z-axis.
And then there's 64 and Sunshine, which are like legitimately 3D games, I would say.
Yeah.
And those are so simple. Mario Sunshine's a little complex with Flood, but Flood is still very simple. Like,
you press a button, you get to fly.
You
press
change
a button,
the nozzles.
Yeah, you train. Yeah, it makes sense.
But I feel like you in the Mario Odyssey, you unironically have to learn a move set for a 3D Mario game, like it's a fighting game. But when you learn it, it's still really fun.
It is.
You just have to learn it.
Watching it, like watching people speedrun it. I love watching people speedrun it. Small Ant, I watch him speedrun it.
Oh yeah, that guy.
He's really fun to watch speedrun games because he understands games. He also speedruns Pokemon a lot, and I love watching Pokemon. So,
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon.
A lot of stuff that I think that's going to happen with like these games that are announced like really late into Nintendo's span of the Switch is they're probably just going to get both releases. Like how they did with the 3DS. Back when they had Nintendo Directs really early into the Switch's lifespan, they were releasing games for both the Switch and the 3DS. But I think they're just going to do like both. Unless it's instead of like the 3DS and the Switch having different games, they just get the same games in the Direct, except for like super high quality games. that I don't think they will drop immediately on the Switch 2 unless they drop a Mario game. But I do feel like they're going to drop like a Mario Kart game. Maybe they're gonna drop Mario Kart game, they're gonna drop some sort of tech demo.
Yeah.
Another thing, uh the functionality needs to be good with the Switch 2. Because like the Wii, that functionality was great. It was a Wii controller. All of the games really like actually just used the Wiimote with its motion and pointer. But the Switch has that exact same stuff, except I feel like you never use it.
Yeah. Like there's an infrared camera on the right Joy-Con.
Yeah, and you never use it. The only thing you use that for that I can think off the top of my head is Ring Fit Adventure to check your heart rate. And that's all it does, I think.
Or the app dedicated to it where it's literally just an infrared camera on your Switch.
Oh.
There's literally an app on the Nintendo Switch where it's just an infrared camera. And that's all it is.
And they never used it.
Yeah. Like, you could have used it for some cool stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think the Nintendo Switch was just almost too un-Nintendo, almost. Like, they were trying to compete with Sony and Xbox. But realistically, you have a tablet console. You're not. Which I think is also why they ported Mortal Kombat 1 over to the Switch, just to be like, hey, we also have this game, guys. But that was way too big of a game to actually put on the Switch.
Also, on the topic of like the Wii U and how you had to be close to the console to use it, PlayStation has released one of those.
Ah, the Portal.
Which, if we think about this for a second, PlayStation is following the same path that Nintendo is. And PlayStation could very likely release a portable console with the graphics of a PlayStation 5.
Oh, yes. They could totally do that. Because...
And then if they do that, Nintendo's done. I'm sorry. I get that there are exclusive games on the Nintendo Switch. But if you release a portable PlayStation 5, and when I say portable PlayStation 5, I mean like a completely portable, you don't need to be near the console. You can take it in your car without internet, like on a 12-hour road trip, and you can use it. Nintendo, like,
will just
fizzle
away.
Yeah, it'll start fizzling away slowly because people will realize, hey, this console's better. Let's use this instead.
I think another good example of that was quite literally the PlayStation Portable. Back, is like the PlayStation Portable. I don't know about the PS Vita. I know that's a thing. I know
PS
literally
Vita sucks.
I figured because I know nothing about it. But the PSP, if I'm correct, released during the DS era and almost killed the DS because
the only reason it didn't kill the DS was because the 3DS released.
Yeah, but like the PSP, the graphics on the PSP were actually nuts.
They were PlayStation 2 graphics, and that's the time it released was during PlayStation 2 era. And if you have a console that releases with the best console's graphics and it's portable without having to be near a console, what does the other contender do?
Yeah.
Nintendo has the constant issue of not being able to release a console with good graphics. And if they don't do that with the Nintendo Switch 2, like, I know that the leaks say that it's going to be the same as the PlayStation 4 Pro,
but they're also really behind because the PS5 Pro, the PS5 Pro is already out, and the
Xbox Series X exists. Like, so many other consoles with good graphics exist that it's one of those things where Nintendo needs to release something with good graphics, or they're going to go down.
And I think my idea with the dock, where you like put it into like its own little system to increase the specs, would have been the best possible thing because that lets Nintendo compete with the other consoles and still do some Nintendo game stuff and do some whatever Nintendo stuff does.
It allows them to have the Nintendo iconic portable console and have a contending home console that contends with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Because, like, I don't know. If I had to pick between a Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 with PS4 Pro graphics, a PlayStation 5, or an Xbox Series X, and we're just going to say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is like $450 because I think that's a reasonable price for it. If it has the graphics that they say it has.
If it does have the graphics, if they do want to improve the functionality on the Joy-Cons, I could definitely see it being $450. But if they do nothing with the Joy-Cons, like how they did last with the Nintendo Switch, it might go to $400.
Yeah. Which, if I had to pay $400 for that, $500 for a PS5, or $550 for a PS5 Pro, or is it $600?
It's like $700.
It's $700. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
The PS5, the differences between your main console and a Pro console matters so much. And I'd also, why did the Switch not drop a Switch Pro? I think everybody was waiting for it. They dropped the Lite, and everybody thought, okay, well here's a Switch Pro, and it was just the OLED, which might be a Switch Pro,
but it didn't improve the graphics. It didn't improve.
It just improved
RAM,
the screen.
It didn't improve anything. It literally, the screen got a little bigger.
And it added an Ethernet cable to the dock, which was kind of cool. Like if you play Smash, the Ethernet cable dock was cool because you didn't need like a little extender or anything. It was just already on the dock, right there. You plug it in, boom.
Take a big old chug of that milk, won't you?
Won't I?
Do you need more milk?
I think I'll be fine.
Okay.
But like the Switch 2 might fail, I think.
I think there's a very good chance that it could fail.
They have to be really. I think the only determining factor about the Switch 2, if it sells well or not, is quite literally, are the games good?
Yeah, I think that's a good determining factor too.
It's like, are the games good? Is the price different enough to justify people who don't have a Switch to get the Switch 2 and just get Switch games on it still? And are the graphics actually
good?
Good.
Or are they mid?
Yeah. Because if it's PS4 Pro graphics, that's still fine. But they're still behind.
They're still very far behind.
Yeah, because during around this time, PS5 Pro is already out. And that pretty much means Sony, in maybe like another year or like half a year, will just drop the PS6. And Nintendo will have a console that's PS4 Pro graphics level, while the PS6 is out. That, could have the same graphics as a PS5 because they might just not be different. Another thing, I really do think we've reached a point in graphics to where we can't really go farther.
Yeah.
We've reached like a threshold.
I think to go farther is literally to do live action graphics. And we pretty much have that with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the most recent... Okay, I'm going to reference a college football game on the PlayStation 5, which I don't play, but College Football 25 released recently, and its graphics look almost human.
Yes.
It looks like someone took a camera and recorded football, and then made it so you could play it. And it looks insane. Like, I'm not a fan of football. I'm not a fan of sports in general, but I looked at the game and I was like, holy crap. That's actually bonkers. The fact that we've reached a point in graphics that it looks almost human.
And that's on the PS5.
Yeah, and that's on the PS5.
There's a PS5 Pro still, and the PS5 6 might drop soon, but
the issue is can they make better graphics than what they have right now?
Graphics? Another thing I find quite interesting around the same time is games started coming out with purposefully bad graphics because we've reached a point where you can't go farther, so everybody started going behind with stuff like Cuphead. What was that one game that was like Mouse? It's like a first-person shooter with black and white ink-colored and styled graphics.
I don't know what
from
you're
like
talking about.
cartoons. It's really cool. I seen it like a long time ago, and I think they're still making it, but it's still a really cool game. Um, oh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. That also happens where the graphics are like kind of they're meant to be pixely because we can't go farther. We've already reached like a borderline realistic to where people are like, well, we're just gonna have to go back because we can't go any farther, which might also cause another issue of what does the new console have? Is it just going to be better graphics that you really can't tell the difference unless you really paid attention
And like squint.
and you squinted right up to your monitor and you looked at it and you say, "Oh, there's another pixel there. Let's go."
Well, they added a 2,506 pixel.
Dude, that was worth my $400 just for that one pixel. But like, yeah, we reached like a point where graphics kind of don't matter almost.
And another thing with graphics is like, in order to optimize those graphics, you have to have a good TV or a good monitor.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you need to have a good TV. It has to have matching frame rate and hertz and
that costs a lot of money on its own.
yeah.
So you're paying like this, we'll say $700 for the PS5 Pro, and then you have to pay another like $550 for a 4K TV
Mm-hmm.
that might have a little less hertz than the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah.
So you're paying it upwards of like $1,200 just for like, yeah. And the PS6, you'd be doing the same thing, and you're paying for slightly better graphics.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like this is one of those stopping points in consoles where Nintendo can still make consoles because they can still catch up. But Xbox and PlayStation have hit that point where if they make another console, it's not going to be any different.
I also think another thing that Nintendo's doing that's really smart. They are behind, which is actually really good because that still lets them climb. And with Nintendo consoles and their crazy functionality and like a bunch of like motion controls and all that, they still have stuff to improve on still. Sony and Xbox can't really improve on much unless PlayStation does want to make a portable console, a true portable console. But they might just not because the Portal came out that was, I would say, like almost.
That's almost
It could be a test for an upcoming PlayStation.
That's what the Wii U was.
Yeah.
It was a test for the Nintendo Switch. Let's be real for a second.
Yeah, it was. The Nintendo Wii U was straight up just seeing how can we get this game on a gamepad.
So I could definitely see just everyone else coming to a complete halt,
And Nintendo is still
and
kind of
Nintendo
climbing.
is still down here, slowly making their way up. But you got to think the guys that are up here aren't making any more money. They're kind of stuck. Nintendo is going to keep slowly climbing with new consoles and making more and more money
with their quirky functionality, and they're still climbing in graphics, which is already a big enough thing to throw money at. Their functionality wise can still vary from like literally anything because it's Nintendo. They could just give us a TV remote and you swing it around and say that's the console. Sony can't do that. Only Nintendo does that, which I feel like makes Nintendo almost like the best video game company in like the near future because they have so much to improve on. The only thing Sony can improve on is get games.
Yeah, get better games.
They could just have they need console exclusives. They just don't. They have Astrobot. That
Spider-Man.
is it. They do have Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Astrobot, and that's
pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have anything else because like games that I've mentioned, like college football, you can get on the Xbox. So it's not like, yeah, like they used to be exclusive. College football used to be exclusive to PlayStation, but for some reason it's not anymore. And I think it's because Xbox just was like, hey, I'll give you some money, give me a game.
Another thing, Sony losing games, Microsoft literally buying out Call of Duty, which was like it wasn't really PlayStation's thing, but if you had a PlayStation, you just kind of had Call of Duty. But now that Microsoft has Call of Duty, what happens there?
Yeah,
Another thing I think that would be really cool, uh, Call of Duty on the Switch could totally happen. It's been on the DS.
it has been on the DS.
Black Ops 2 is unironically on the Wii U.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. Actually, Retro Jakes has it. I was
Yeah.
tempted to buy it.
I'm really tempted to buy it too, because like Black Ops 2 is already a great game. Maybe the best Call of Duty if you're from a zombies and campaign standpoint. If you're a multiplayer,
Ew, no, it's
Mm.
not that good of a game.
no. But campaign's good. Zombies is arguably the best.
Call of Duty Black Ops, the Black Ops series, had some of the best zombies.
It had mainly just zombies. I think Modern Warfare 3, the new one, had zombies. I think that failed. Black Ops 6 has zombies. That also failed. Call of Duty Ghost had a zombies-like game mode that I don't think did well. World War II had had zombies. Advanced and Infinite Warfare also had zombies. But the Black Ops zombie series are the only real notable ones because it actually has a story. Whereas Infinite Warfare, you're zombies in Spaceland, which, don't get me wrong, the map, Zombies in Spaceland is a really cool map. Have you played it?
No.
It's a good map by itself. But like if you're looking at it from a zombie standpoint, you're just like, what? This is zombies? But modern zombies kind of follows. I guess no. I would say Infinite Warfare's zombies were much more old school zombies. They were styled like it. The gameplay was like it, except it just had a bunch of modern features, and it just felt weird. But if the Switch got zombies, not zombies, Call of Duty, not just zombies, but I would mainly play it for zombies. If the Switch got Call of Duty, which it very well just could because the Switch catalog just has like literally games that they just like threw out. Where it's like if it's meant to be family friendly, it shouldn't be on the Switch, but
Hentai games.
there's hentai games, there's Devil May Cry. They already have shooter games on here.
Fortnite.
There's Fortnite. I do actually. Another thing I just thought of is Nintendo going to be the family-friendly console forever?
I don't think they're going to be the family-friendly console. I think they're going to be the family-oriented.
I would, yeah. Or they go like I really don't know if they were going to say like the family-oriented console.
Because I could see them being a family-oriented console. Obviously, they're not a family-friendly
No,
console.
yeah, they've lost that hard. There are way too many games that are not meant for kids, not meant for work. Just straight up, if your kid sees that, he's traumatized.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I guess it's like it. The Switch has. It's another thing. It's like the Switch has games, not all of them being family friendly games, but it still has games. Like Nintendo's whole thing is console exclusives, quirky functionality, and sometimes portability. The Nintendo Switch 2 has all three of those, I feel like. Or at least it will because it has the Switch library. It's going to be portable. The graphics will be good. It just needs that quirky little functionality that the Switch kind of had but just did not use at all.
Yeah.
Like, let me think. You have Switch Sports. You have 1-2 Switch.
Ew.
That might have been the worst tech demo of all time. Did you see that they made a 1-2 Switch 2?
1-2 Switch 2?
It was the worst thing ever because its target audience was like quite literally 0 people. Okay, so you know 1-2 Switch and how it's like one person and another person. Imagine that, but it's 40 people.
Hmm.
Okay, the idea is cool. It's called Everybody Want to Switch, I think.
Oh yeah, that game. Okay.
You don't need 40-man 1-2 switch.
Yeah, you do.
Who's gonna play it? 40 people who all walk up and like, I hope they've got everybody 1-2 switch or I'm leaving. It's like no one really.
It's a 1-2. It's an everybody 1-2 switch tournament.
No, it's not.
With bracket.
No, there is no bracket. It's Fortnite 1-2 switch. We do not need a bracket on that. But like the target audience was just non-existent because you're buying everybody 1-2 switch because you can have 40 people all in this big like area play 1-2 switch. But who is getting 40 people to play everybody 1-2 switch? And who of those 40 people are actually down to play everybody 1-2 switch? Like that might have been like the worst game of all time.
No, it was the worst console. Finish your thought.
The Switch isn't the worst console. It sells good.
It was good when it came out.
It was good when it came out. I feel like now it's just gone, and it's just the console exclusive device more than like a Nintendo device, honestly. Because I feel like Nintendo just focuses. They're focusing on graphics too hard. The functionality's gone. The Switch 2 needs functionality. It's like it needs
something quirky.
It needs to be quirky. It's literally Nintendo. That is the quirky just game device. Is
like if we go all the way back to quirky Nintendo devices, you've got the NES, which had the gun.
It did have the gun, the Super Scope, the Rob.
Yeah, like
that was peak quirkiness right there.
Peak quirkiness. SNES, basically the same thing as the NES because it was just a Super Nintendo. It was the NES Pro.
NES 2.
Yeah. You've got, let's see, what came after that?
N64.
Yeah, the N64.
Oh, don't forget about the Virtual Boy. That entire thing was just quirkiness.
Yeah, that was just
very quirky. Now, the quirkiness idea is good, but kind of sucked.
It did
because again, its audience was, oh, I'm playing Super Mario in the goggles and the VR, and then you just like, oh, I'm not now. You just like step back and you're just not. You have a weird little controller in your hands and you want to throw it away because it looks terrible. That controller might have been the worst controller of all time.
Learn how to play Smash with it.
No.
But yeah, you've got the Virtual Boy, and then you've got the N64, which the controller was the quirky.
It was the quirk.
And
I feel like it was a good balance of quirkiness and not quirky, though. Because
it was also one of the first consoles to have
3D games.
So that was also adhering to the quirkiness.
Yes.
Like, whoa, a 3D game? A game where I can move on the Z-axis? No way. Z-axis?
Z-axis is now...
This is Z-axis.
This is Z-axis, and this is the Nintendo 64.
But, yeah, so that had its quirkiness. And then you had the GameCube, which, let's be honest, I don't even know if the GameCube...
The GameCube wasn't really quirky.
No, it wasn't.
The controller was just weird.
Now, if we go back in time again, you've got the Game Boy, which is the first handheld console that Nintendo created.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure it was the first handheld console period.
There's the Game & Watch. That was also made by Nintendo.
Yeah, but that had one game on it, and it was Game & Watch.
I guess I wouldn't say it's a video game device.
No.
It's like if you classify those like plug and plays with like the arcade stick with like a bunch of random arcade games on it. If you consider that a video game, the Game & Watch is a video game console.
But if you don't consider it a video game, then the Game & Watch is not a.
The Game & Watch really wasn't a console. It was just like, wow, I'm so bored, but I have my good old buddy Game & Watch here to help me.
I guess you had Tomodachi too.
Oh yeah, there was Tomodachi.
But let's be real, once again, Tomodachi wasn't really a video game.
Yes, the Game Boy is like the first video game console.
That was portable.
The
quirkiness was that it was portable.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
Oh my
quirky enough.
goodness. I can pull my Game Boy out and play Super Mario Bros. Whenever I want.
Oh, another portable console I don't think we mentioned. The what was it called? No, I just had it in my mind. Okay.
What does it do? Or
It's
who made
quite
it?
literally a portable Sega Genesis. I forget
I know what
it's
you're talking about because Retro Jakes has one. I'm
Retrojakes
looking it up
does
now.
have it, but it's quite literally this big, bulky brick
Yes.
that has to have a power connection. But if you have a power connection, it is literally a portable Genesis, which was, I'm sure, at the time, the coolest thing ever.
It's called a Sega Game Gear.
Sega Game Gear. That was cool. That's cool. It's not really quirky, but like it's a portable Sega Genesis. Like the Sega Genesis had good games. It's portable now. You just have to have a power connection to it,
Yeah.
which isn't technically portable unless you take your portable electric generator with you and carry it like a briefcase. And you're like, wow, I can play my
Oh my god.
oh my god, it's Sonic the Hedgehog in my hands.
But no, like the Game Boy was the first console that you could really say, oh my goodness, I can play any video game I want, but portably.
But it was green.
Yeah. But next we get to the Game Boy Color.
Yes.
Where there's
Wait,
color.
hold on. Was the Game Boy Color first or was the Game Boy Pocket first?
I think it was Game Boy Pocket was first.
Yeah, the Game Boy Pocket, just a smaller Game Boy.
No quirkiness,
Very
it was
cool.
just smaller. Game Boy Color was a Game Boy with color.
That was probably like, I think, I don't know how the sales were on that, but I'm sure it was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I watched a video about it a while back ago. It was a good. It had about the same sales as a Game Boy
That makes sense.
because people were like, "Oh my goodness, I can play my Game Boy games in color, or I can play Game Boy Color games in color." Because
Yeah, you can't play Game Boy games in color on the Game Boy Color. It's just Game Boy Color games on the Game Boy Color.
But you can also play Game Boy games
on the Game Boy Color, but no color.
Yeah. That's a sentence.
Fun.
That's a sentence.
Game Boy games on the Game Boy Color, but no color.
Yeah.
But then
Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advanced.
One of, I would argue, the best Nintendo handheld consoles
It was
ever.
peak. It was peak. That released during the GameCube. Wait, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really good console. Actually, I would consider it its own console. That had some good games.
It did. Also, that was the introduction to Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
The Game Boy was the introduction to Pokemon, and I would argue that was one of the biggest turning points in history because Pokemon is a big.
Pokemon is crazy big right now,
And it can
only get bigger
back then. Yeah, it can only get bigger.
Like you have Pokemon games, Pokemon cards, the
Pokemon Online cards,
Pokemon Online cards, the Pokemon Show, Pokemon merchandise, Pokemon mobile games. Everything became Pokemon sooner or later just because of the one Game Boy game that had Pocket Monsters on it.
Yeah. And then, like, the games just kept getting better. Like, Pokemon Red, amazing game. Pokemon Red was an amazing game. Pokemon Blue, also an amazing game. Pokemon Silver and Gold.
Oh yeah, those were.
I have Silver. Like, I recently played Silver.
Was that the golden era? Wait, okay. I have a question.
Oh,
you're the big Pokemon guy.
God, it was peak.
What is peak Pokemon?
Peak Pokemon is Pokemon Emerald. Peak Pokemon is Pokemon Emerald on the Game Boy Advance.
What about Black and White?
Black and White is a very, very good game, but nothing will compete with Emerald. Nothing. The only game that might compete with Emerald is, in my opinion, there are two games that can compete with Pokemon Emerald. Pokemon Platinum, because, oh my god, the amount of Pokemon in Pokemon Platinum was just insane. It was Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon Pearl, and then everything after, or everything before that in one game. And it was just, it was insane. And then the other game that I would argue,
and then the editor puts like the Pokeko bird and just goes, "Damn!" Anyways, Pokemon Platinum.
Pokemon Platinum competes, and then another game. This is my opinion. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. Huh? I'm not going to say Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Dang it.
I am going to say Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver though
Okay, yeah.
on the DS. I think that those are peak Pokemon games right there. It's Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Gold, but the Pokemon follow you around. Like, the Pokemon is literally behind your character and it's following you around. And it's got more storyline to it because you can go back to the...
It has after game. It has post story.
It has 2 stories. It has Pokemon Gold and Silver story, and then you go back to the Kanto region. You go back to Pokemon Red.
Huh.
And you play through it with your Johto team, and you play through the gyms in the Elite Four. But they're more powerful,
Huh.
and some of them have Gen 2 Pokemon.
Oh.
Like Brock, instead of having Geodudes and Onyxes, he has Golems and Steelix.
Oh, okay, so they are just like much more powerful gym leaders.
Yeah, it's basically they power scaled it so it matches your Pokemon. And
That's pretty cool.
it's so good because after you finish it, you get a ticket to the SSN, and it's like, ticket to the SSN? What? You get on the SSN, and then you're in the Kanto region, and then you get to play through the entirety of Kanto.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Game Boy Advance also have the Game Boy Advance SP.
I have the Game Boy Advance SP.
I also have it. That's pretty cool. I still think I would like the Game Boy Advance better than the
So do
SP.
I.
But it's the same thing.
It is.
Except it's flip and it's
screen is
much more
protected.
Game Boy.
It's much more Game Boy. It's also more protected
Yeah.
because the screen is less likely to break if you have it folded.
And then after the Game Boy Advance SP,
The best thing Nintendo ever released, the Nintendo DS.
It's peak.
And we're not talking like the Nintendo DSi, the thin one. We're talking the thick one.
Oh, you're talking about the thick silver one.
I'm talking about the thick silver one.
You might be the only person to say that.
I'm talking about the thick silver one. That was...
I've actually never seen one of those in person before.
I have never seen one of those in person either, but I have seen people play them before. It's just a DS, but it runs slightly faster because it has more stuff inside.
It looks cool.
It does.
I feel like it's like a flex. Right? It's like, hey, look at my
Oh
DS.
yeah, look at my DS, my thick DS.
Like somebody goes up to you, what kind of DS do you got? DS. Yeah, but like I or XL. DS. And you're like, yo, you got the DS? Yeah, I got the DS. Damn.
Yeah.
That guy's cool.
And then, like, after that, you had the DSi, which the DSi was an amazing console.
That was also really good. It was, I feel like that was just perfect for literally anything. It had the camera that you could just like mess around with. It was like a toy. The DSi was like a toy almost. You also had Flipnote. Flipnote was good. It's somehow popular again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Raxty, Flipnote.
Yeah.
I love Flipnote. Flipnote's like such a nostalgia bring back. Thank you, Raxty.
It's literally just flip a clip,
yeah,
but on the DS.
it's good. You had the Parrot app. I don't know what it is, but you could just manipulate sounds, and that's just fun. And then there's the camera. It existed. Oh wait, the DSi had internet capabilities too.
Yep.
I completely forgot about that. You can
And
connect
the
to the
shop.
internet and the shop. Yes, I didn't have a DSi.
Also, going back to the DS for a second, the DS could play Game Boy Advance games.
Yes, I have the DS X. Wait, what is it? No, it's a DS Lite.
Yeah,
I said
the
XL.
DS.
I
The
don't know why I
DS.
said
No, the DSi can play.
The DSi cannot. Play
No,
Game
the
Boys.
DS. I'm pretty sure the DSi is the one that can. The DS Lite is the one
The
that can.
DS1, I have the DS Lite. The DS Lite plays Game Boy Advanced games.
Does it?
Yeah, the DSi removed the
Oh yeah. You're
Game
right,
Boy
you're right.
functionality. But
Yeah,
I
you're
do
right.
think a weird thing is, why did they not just put Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced? It was
I'm so aggravated
just
about that.
Game Boy Advanced. I guess I could see why. The screen. I don't think
Yeah.
it's the right ratio, and I don't think they really wanted to go in depth for Game Boy games. Like anyone's going to play. I guess that makes sense because if you want to play Game Boy games, you get the Game Boy Advance.
And then you can also play Game Boy Advance games.
Yeah, and if you want to play Game Boy Advance games, you just get the DS.
Yeah.
And not the Game Boy Advance. You get the DS to get Game Boy Advance games, and you also get DS games. That also Game Boy Advance DS introduced one of the best series, in my opinion, Mario and Luigi games.
Yeah.
Those were so good. And Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story is, I would still say, one of Nintendo's best portable games. That game is so good. It's long enough of a story to always keep you playing again. It's fun still. Like there's a bunch of random little quirks, and there's like you're technically playing two stories at once. It's still Mario and Luigi, and then it's Mario and Luigi and Bowser. And then if we get to the 3DS, it's and Bowser Jr. I actually know nothing about that side story with Bowser Jr. But from judging from the lack of information, I'm going to assume it was straight cheeks. But like, yeah, Mario and Luigi, that was such a good era. The 3DS also had Dream Team. That was good. I think. I know I had it, and I know I liked it as a kid. I'm sure it wasn't the best, but I'm sure it was good. And then if we're also in that same era, there's Paper Mario.
Paper Mario was a good game.
Paper. Okay. Paper Mario was pretty good. During the DS and the 3DS era, it did have good games, I think.
One of the most controversial games
Was Sticker Star?
I think so.
Yeah, Sticker Star was the 3DS. Yeah, the 3DS game that. Yeah, I did have it. I don't think I ever No, I didn't complete it as a
What's
kid.
that one Brain game? Isn't it just called Brain Game?
It's called Brain Age.
Brain Age.
For the DSi.
Yeah,
Just the DSi. That was good.
very good game.
Then they also have that on the Switch too. It's like an updated version of it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's on the Switch. It's a brand new game, but it's like for some reason super hard to find. Like you almost have to. It's almost like an Easter egg trying to find that game on the eShop. It's so weird, but it's on the eShop. It's just Brain Age but better with online multiplayer. You know the little game where you have to like do the math and you draw it? There's that, but it's multiplayer. And online. And then there's the 3DS. That existed.
One of the most controversial Pokemon games was released on the 3DS.
Was that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire?
X and Y.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people hated X and Y. A lot of people loved X and Y. A lot of people were iffy on X and Y. And the reason was because they released Mega Evolution. And it was just a weird game.
Mega Evolution probably caused a huge downfall, honestly, in Pokemon because it just felt like every Pokemon game had to have a weird little gimmick.
Not every Pokemon game needs to have a weird little gimmick, in my opinion. Because you've got Pokemon X and Y with Mega Evolution, Pokemon Sun and Moon, and then Ultra Sun and Moon with Z moves. Z moves. I love Z moves. Pokemon, I forgot the name of the game. Crown Zenith. What's Crown Zenith?
Sword and Shield, bro. We've said Sword and Shield like 4 times in the podcast.
I know.
I had to reference Crown Zenith.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'd say it's Sword and Shield.
Yeah, anyways, Sword and Shield released with Gigantamax and Dynamax. I guess I should have said Dynamax. Dynamax, Gigantamax.
Same thing.
Yeah, same difference.
Except some of them have G-Max moves.
Anyways, and then Pokemon Scarlet and Violet released with Terastallization, which
I think sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Bad game design. 0 out of 10 for Scarlet and Violet. Just go play Sword and Shield,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, if you want to play a Pokemon Switch game, go play Sword and Shield.
Not Let's Go.
No, because
Don't-
Let's Go sucks too.
Let's Go's good if you shiny hunt, but you can only shiny hunt Kanto Pokemon.
Yeah. And if we're being real for a second here, most Kanto shinies suck because when
They're
Kanto
all
shinies
green.
released,
They're all just green.
they were all green because when they were released, the only thing they could be was green. So,
But I honestly want to go back to the Switch too. What do you think a Pokemon game, like new generation Pokemon game for the Switch 2 looks like?
so not Legends EA.
Not Legends yet, a completely new game.
Like
because
a completely new game.
New generation, new starters, new Pokemon, new
starters.
everything.
Oh, we could see a really, really cool game. And I think it could. I don't want it to be open world.
Yes, I actually hated Scarlet and Violet because it was open world. I literally
I'm not okay. I'm not hating on open world Pokemon games. Like Legends games, they have to be open world.
Yeah.
Because that's their whole that's their gimmick. Is that they're open world. And then you took that and you put it in Scarlet and Violet and you made Scarlet and Violet open world and you kind of ruined the game. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield is semi-open world.
Yeah, you can play Sword and Shield really without going into any of the open world areas. You can play the entire game without going into the open world areas.
There's like one part where you have to go into an open world area, but you're literally going in a straight line, a straight shot.
Oh yeah, you just walk through it all and literally that's your open world experience. If you want to go into the open world, it's just like there. It's not like a requirement.
And like again, DLC is open world for Sword and Shield, I think.
The first one.
The first one's open world.
The second one is
Semi-open world, I think.
Honestly, I would say I wouldn't say it's open world. It's the first one's definitely open world. The second one is really not that much open world. But all I want next Pokemon game on the Switch 2, please don't be open world. Have more Pokemon, please.
Yes, please don't add like just a couple new Pokemon, and then please don't make them like Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur's
What did
design
Baxcalibur
sucks.
do? Oh, his design just sucks. Okay.
His design sucks. He has a move where he just goes on his head and does the Godzilla slide.
A Godzilla slide? What is a Godzilla slide?
You've never seen that video?
Wait, is it just on the tail?
Yeah.
Oh! he just
Go
straight up just...
Yeah.
That's
but
actually,
on his head.
That's peak move right there.
But their designs suck. Like Kilowattrel, cute design. Wattrel, or not Kilowattrel, sorry. Wattrel's the pre-evolution. Wattrel design, cute little bird Pokemon, and then Kilowattrel is literally just a bigger Wattrel.
Bigger bird.
It's just a bigger Wattrel.
Like another thing, back in Sword and Shield, say okay, let's compare birds. Wattrel, Rookidee.
Mm-hmm.
Rookidee evolves into Corviknight.
Corviknight is a sick Pokemon.
That is such a cool Pokemon. And then Kilowattrel, electric bird.
Yeah. And we go back one more, Sun and Moon. We compare Sun and Moon to Scarlet and Violet. We got Picky Peck.
Oh, Picky Peck.
Evolves into Toucanon as the final stage. Toucanon? That's a cool looking bird.
His beak also
his beak is
colors.
just huge.
And it changes colors if he doesn't attack.
Yeah.
Does it change it if he gets hurt? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that design.
His shiny is amazing too.
Oh, the shinies, yes. Another thing. Oh, shinies. Scarlet and Violet shiny hunting
sucks so badly.
Yeah, I think Scarlet and Violet on our one up we killed shiny hunting. Because
Scarlet and Violet might have killed Pokemon for a little bit there.
From what I'm seeing, you can just get shinies so easy. You can get guaranteed shinies, and I feel like it isn't more about a random number generator. It's just more about manipulating that random number generator into getting the shiny Pokemon, which isn't shiny hunting anymore then, is it?
No.
But then again, shiny hunting is stupid, and you never do it. It's a waste of time.
Waste of time.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Tweak. I know what you do on your Twitch streams. You shiny hunt. Yeah, you could do instead of you shiny hunt, Lab Banana Z drop combos, man. Diddy Kong needs it. All right. Well, any final thoughts on the Switch 2?
I don't have any final thoughts on the Switch 2, except please don't wait to release it until 2026.
the leaks say there's going to be a direct this month
Yeah, I know.
and might drop in like March.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm excited for that.
If the Switch 2 drops in like this month, I think the Switch 2 could be a very good console. The games have to be good, everything else like that, yeah. But the idea is weird, which is good. We need the weird ideas for a good Nintendo console. It's like the Switch was weird. Switch 2 needs to be more weird, and it looks weird enough, which is good. But I think as like a final thought for the Switch 2, Smash 6 has to be a baller Smash game, man. The scene is literally dying, and
Please add Waluigi.
Rivals of Aether 2 is taking over Smash Ultimate. We need another Smash game. That needs to be good. Please. Please. And add Dante. That'd be really cool, too, if you added Dante. Yeah, just like add Dante, you know? That'd be cool. Anyways, any final words before podcast ends?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's it for episode 1 of the Milk Fridge. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. I don't know how to do a Mr. Beast outro. I know how to do an intro. I don't know how he does the outros. Wait, he does the song. No, he does the song. Yeah, we have to sing the song now for the outro. Mr. B 6000. Oh, Mr. B 6000. Yeah, you know his name. He changes once and twice, but then gets here to stay. Cut.